Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan, and here basically we are talking about the Congress party basically. And Congress party says that we have created the entire India, and due to that only basically I visited 6 time in Mumbai, and I was not able to get the job. So here basically we are talking about that party only. So here basically the thing is the group says that. Here, basically, we are talking about earthquake system. Basically, the earthquake system means how basically the each and every buildings are standing at the same position, trees are standing at the same position, big commercial buildings are standing at the straight position. That is basically mapped according to the blood groups. That are basically in this world. Basically, there are 12 blood groups. There are 12 blood groups basically. So, according to the 12 blood groups, the each and every earthquake magnitudes basically are maintained. Maintained basically, you can say it's mapped basically. This is the perfect word. So, against the blood groups, the each and every magnitudes of the earthquake basically are mapped. This is the perfect word. So in basically IT industry, if anybody says that this blood group is basically mapped against this magnitude, then it would be perfect answer basically. That is the if this magnitude earthquake basically comes, then basically you just have to pick that particular blood groups. Blood groups basically. I have taken an example. A blood group equal to 150 crore people. So what actually the problem was from that basically you can able to diagnose. So 3 months basically power data basically always comes with the in within the city, and that data basically are collected long before and filtered and cleared long before basically. Then only basically the 3 months data comes. So the earthquake which is going to come, that basically are decided long before basically. If 3 months basically the data power supply data comes within the city, that basically to prepare that 3 month data only basically how many months basically it might be taking. So basically assume that currently whatever earthquake basically are coming, that might be 4 5 6 years before basically the data might have collected. So the current power supply basically which is coming to the city, that is basically of 3 months, and that basically generates the earthquakes. That means it has collected the data of this 3 months power supply data 5 to 6 years before basically. You can we will take this as a 7 years or 6.5 years. So 6.5 years before this 3 months data was collected. So the earthquake which basically currently it is coming in the earth planet in wherever basically in the cities, wherever in the cities basically that are basically on the base of the 6.5 years before data basically. So earth planet basically the power supply company basically says that we are 6.5 years ahead. 6.5 years ahead. So basically the dangerous comment basically this basically you can say uh, given by the power supply company. So here the question is, uh, for example, the data is collected, right? That time basically you can't track the magnitude of the earthquakes. Why? It's not possible, no? Because you don't have the land data, you don't have the surface data, you don't have the environment data, you don't have the live environment data. Then basically how you can basically merge this data power data with the environment and the city data. It's not possible practically, it's not possible. Otherwise basically if you will create some another environment basically for that checking basically, then basically it might create some another issue. it might create another issue. That's why basically few people says that we have tried this, we have created the entire city environment also. Due to that, basically lots of problem basically occurred. Currently, basically Corona occurred. So Corona basically, when the Corona came, basically then that time basically everybody knows that basically how many crores of people, sorry, lakhs of people died. So that system basically it's very difficult. So system with the environment, it's very difficult to um, keep the environment system basically. So basically we don't keep this type of environment system. So whenever the basically data comes, that time only basically we predict whether the earthquake is going to come or not going to come. But few satellite groups says that we can predict the data, that whether the if this data 6.5 years data which is coming going to come to this city, it will generate earthquake or it will not generate earthquake. So that type of satellites groups are also there, but it's very costly. Basically, you can say it's very costly because each and every services basically you government uses. Government basically have many services basically with them. So to activate each and every service basically it takes cost. So that cost basically you can just imagine basically how much cost basically it might be. If the datas are very if the place are very critical, like nuclear power plant, that is very critical area basically, right? If their earthquake basically comes, then basically the entire country basically might have to suffer. So that data basically when the power company is going to send, that data basically need to check 100 times basically before sending basically. Reason, that is nuclear power plant. So whenever the nuclear power plant is also basically need the stability data, right? Because each and every buildings are also standing in that area. So that building is supposed to stand only. It's not supposed to move unstable. Unstable means, for example, one building is standing, and assume a 100 floor building is standing near the nuclear power plant. Basically, this practically it's not possible 100 building. But then also we are taking one example, 100 floors of building basically standing, and it's not supposed to move to left and it's not supposed to move to right side. It is supposed to be stand at straight only. That's why basically the data basically are very critical. That's why basically that time basically the power data which is going to be sent, that need to check 100 times. So that time basically the satellite help basically you can say services can be activated, but that need to pay money. So this is also basically, so here basically what is the thing, the thing is basically the blood group are mapped against the against the magnitude of earthquake. Example: A blood group, B blood group, C blood group, E blood group, like this positive blood group, E positive, C positive, F positive, G positive. So assume that G positive blood group basically whenever this gets any effect or any gets any problem, then basically 100% the magnitude of earthquake will be more than 8. If E plus blood group basically is going to get some effect. So what is this effect? That also basically we are going to see after some after next video basically. E positive blood cells basically got some effect. That means the earthquake basically is going to come. Earthquake is 100% going to come because the blood group has got affected. But the magnitude which is going to come, that is of 9 point something. Then basically like this basically each and every blood group basically are meant and calculated and placed in the environment of the each and every cities. So just see basically how dangerous the world is actually. Actually it's not dangerous, it's very dangerous because earth planet is moving in the universe. That is the very dangerous. If it's not moving, then there is no issue, basically. but it's moving and it keeps moving. That is a very dangerous. That's why basically lots of people says that lots of scientists actually says that in this earth planet, if earth planet is moving, then sound has to be happen, constant sound has to be happen. This was the statement basically given by the one of the scientists. Due to few people says that always basically 365 days basically any country, sorry, the country basically keeps on fighting because sound has to happen. So from where basically sound is going to happen? From missile, from bomb blast. Bomb blast means war is going, na? So bomb blast is 100% going to have. So there basically sound is getting effect. So few scientists basically demands that we want the sound when the Earth planet is moving, and few scientists say that we want sound in particular time basically. In particular time, if our planet is moving in this side basically, that time basically we want sound. That is the demand of one of the scientists. This is not basically the war people, the army people. Army people basically don't have any in Hindi basically it's called army people लोगों को शौक नहीं है कि हम लड़े, हम लड़ाई लड़े. But that is the demand of the scientist basically. Scientists say that whenever the earth planet is moving in this particular universe side, that time basically I want sound effect. So you can just imagine basically the researcher of the Earth planet basically they told that basically to give the sound basically there is only one option, that is bomb blast or missile basically. There is no other option basically. So they told that basically then basically we have to keeps on fighting in the Earth planet. So few countries says that we will fight, we will fight, we will fight. So like this basically keeps on fighting. So that's basically the demand of the scientist basically. So that is basically different part. So here basically we are discussing that. That is basically very dangerous part actually. That war part basically we can say. So here basically here we were discussing that blood group basically of the Earth planet are basically mapped according to the magnitude, and according to the magnitude of the earthquake the blood groups are created. That also basically we can see, we can say basically. And basically one person told that how basically it is mapped here. That is a very dangerous question basically, how it is mapped. The most dangerous question basically he asked, because the question why he asked is because blood cell equal to one planet, blood cell equal to one planet, and one blood group basically contains more than 5 crore blood cells. So more than 5 crore blood cells equal to one group. So that scientist basically if he is telling that sound is required, then there might be some logic basically. What might be the logic, that basically scientist only knows. But here basically we are discussing that blood group equal to magnitude of earthquakes. So whenever you feel that, whenever the country basically is feeling getting the earthquakes of 9, 8, or 7, or 6, this type of magnitude earthquake basically comes, then basically the scientists basically who basically have a knowledge basically, who say that this power supply basically has came to this power supply data basically has came to this city, and it has dumped into the city. That time basically the earthquake came of this magnitude. That time basically they know that this particular blood group basically got some effect. Effect means some changes has happened in that blood group basically. Due to that basically the magnitude of this particular earthquake came. But in India basically everybody knows that there are 3 to 4 blood group basically. They never change, they basically never get changed. So basically due to that basically the earthquake also really never comes basically. But they change their blood groups data also. But that basically depends upon the time period basically when they keeps on keeps change. So here basically we are discussing, but which type of change basically happens in the blood group basically. Here basically the thing is the earth planet. For example, I will take one example of Vadodara city or Gujarat state basically. You can say. Assume that Gujarat state basically is stable. Stable means it's not moving left side, it's not moving the right side, left side. It's not moving. The buildings are not moving left and right side. Why? Because the Gujarat state is stable. Gujarat environment basically which is containing the blood groups, cells data, energies data in the environment basically that is stable data. And if it's a stable data means it's not, the buildings are not moving to left side and right side. Why? Because the data are stable, which is basically given by the power supply company, and they have collected this data on the base of this particular blood groups. So Gujarat basically containing which type of blood groups, that basically the Gujarat creator basically knows who actually created the Gujarat. So they have demanded that this type of blood groups they want. That is basically the scientist group. They have decided this type of blood groups they want. Now here the question is, when the Earth planet, few scientists say that when the Earth planet is moving in this direction, just see basically how dangerous the topic is. If Earth planet is, sorry, the scientists say that if Earth planet is moving into this particular universal direction, that time we want sound from this country. That is the demand basically. So that scientists say that we want the sound from this side of the this side of the Earth planet. So it can be any country. So currently, which war is ongoing? So according to that, basically they want the sound. That is basically the demand of the scientist. So scientists say that Earth planet is moving in this direction of the universe. So according to that, basically we want the sound. Sorry, sound effect. And the Earth planet creator basically the groups basically the see they say that to get the this much sound effect in the universe basically there are few options only, that is basically the war. There is no other option other than war. So for that basically you have to do the missile attack, bomb blast, I don't know what else basically. So then few people says that few scientists say that I want very big blast. Then basically the creator basically says that there is only one option, that is nuclear power plant, sorry, nuclear bomb. So basically, that depends upon the demand of the scientist. The scientists say that we want this side sound effect always. We want that side sound effect. Currently, basically, our planet is moving in this direction. This direction means in this universe, basically, this universe side. So we want sound effect in this side. So basically, here basically the UN basically what says, because here basically UN will never comes into the picture only. Here basically when comes into the picture or not comes into the picture. That basically we will decide in next video basically whether this topic basically which just now we have discussed, what actually UN says and how basically UN reacts on this basically. Because UN says that cricket money is black money. Sorry, UN don't. UN says that cricket money is a black money. UN says that cricket money is a black money, right? But when the Bombay Stock Exchange gets that I have taken one example of 5 lakh crore rupees. When that cricket money reaches to the Mumbai Stock Exchange after so many clearance, so many currency changes, basically you can say. Uh, First, they basically received in some dollar currency, then they converted to pound, then they converted into Singapore pound, Singapore dollar, then they converted into dirham, then they converted into rupees, then they converted into Kuwait Riyal, dirham. Like this means actually what is this? This is actually the currency chain basically you can say. From this currency to this currency to that. Now the question basically one person asked that, see that person, he is going a dollar. That person is dollar. Then he told her what actually he is speaking. That person is Dollar, and that his group basically are in India. That is dollar currency converted to India. That person going is pound. His friend basically, his group basically staying in dirham in UAE, that are that basically is his friends basically. For example, Europe basically when gets converts to dirham, so that person is Europe currency basically. So here the thing is basically the persons are equal to currencies, and currencies basically are equal to his body's energy basically, you can say. So this also basically we are going to discuss what actually we have told just now, and related to UN and related to war basically in next video.